dudes and dudettes, I am Matt Burns, and guess who's back with me on The Burning Truth? It's none
Back
other.
again.
He's
Shady's back. Tell a friend. Sorry, what?
It's none other than John Belaw.
Good day. The real, not remotely Slim Shady is here in the house.
John Belaw's back, and ladies and gentlemen, I can't say I couldn't be more happy that he's able to be on this week's episode. We have got a very busy week for this week's episode of The Burning Truth. In case if anybody's noticed, yes, there wasn't no mention of a saying you're listening to The Burning Truth. It's decided that it would just be straight into the intro and pretty much get down to business.
Essentially, yeah, you know what you're listening to. It's all good. We just need to crack on because, boy, have we got a lot to talk about this week.
That we have. So for this week, basically, we're now going to go through our usual audio disclaimer.
The following broadcast may contain storylines and viewpoints unsuitable to those of a sensitive disposition and language which those of a sensitive disposition and others may find offensive. The following program may
also be unsuitable for younger listeners.
May also indeed be unsuitable for younger listeners, and the following program may contain strobe lighting effects.
There we go. That is one per week. And all's right with the world.
Well, as right as it
as it can be.
It really isn't. All is right with our little broadcast world. The wider world, not touching that with a barge pole, but this little world is fine.
Yes. Because you were greatly missed, and yes, I even did include it in last week's episode for you, JB. So you still got your one per week.
That's all good then.
Right, for this
week... what the rest of them count as, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
True. Right, we've got a lot of stuff to cover this week. However, we've got to retiptoe on some of the topics that that I covered last week.
Yes.
And a little piece, but there is one thing I want to get straight off, because last week we covered, there was a bit of a mention of the situation that has been going on in the US. Now, I will state it isn't a nice situation. It is quite hard to explain. And here's the thing: on last week's episode, I mentioned both All Lives Matter and Black Lives Matter. Now, here's the thing: the Burning Truth is not going to be stating All Lives Matter because it's a bit redundant in this situation.
Yes.
Yes, of course, all lives matter. Yes, they do.
But it is not all lives that are being... the question is not being asked of all of us at the moment, is it? It's just one particular part of society that, well, quite a lot of the rest of society need to be reminded matter just as much as the rest of us.
Correct. Could not have said that better myself. And the fact is, other people have stated certain general facts in regards to this. Hell, even CM Punk's been coming out with some inspirational words in regards to the situation. In case if anybody wants to know what they were, just look up on be backstage, which actually also additionally had Mark Henry and Booker T on there as well, who was listening in, and they both applauded Punk in regards to what was said.
All good.
Now, in regards to what the Burning Truth is going to be stating forward, is we do actually believe that Black Lives Matter, very much so, and that we do expect you to hashtag Black Lives Matter, because would you care? Think what you need to say?
No, I was simply going to say we are well aware of the current situation in the world, and, well, I think this might just be me going out on a limb here, but it might be the Burning Truth in general. It's not good enough, is it?
No.
People who are responsible for the current situation need a good long hard look in the mirror at themselves. They seriously do. Because, well, sections of society are getting demonized and made to feel like they are worth less than others, and that's fundamentally not true.
Correct.
Every person is equal, and anyone who forgets that
the last time
needs to be buckle bombed by Nia Jax, frankly.
Last time I checked, regardless, why is it that we're having this discussion? For me, I feel as though I don't look at anybody and see a different race. I do not. Do you know what I see?
A person, a human being.
Human being.
Yes. That's all anyone should see.
Correct.
To basically treat the lottery of where you were born, because let's face it, folks, nobody has any say in where they are born. To treat the absolute lottery of the country you were born, and indeed the race that you were born into, as some kind of privilege or ability to be beastly to others, it's the lowest of the low, and it is just not on, because there is no such thing as superior anything. We're all humans, we're all absolutely identical, and anyone who thinks any one kind is better than any other is wrong and an idiot.
I could not have said that better myself. And what I'm also going to state is, in case if anybody did listen to last week's episode, yes, as I said, I did push both, all lives matter, because yes, I do believe in that, all lives that do matter, which everyone does. But here's the thing, that's the reason why I stated both of them. But I'm just going to state for the record that the Burning Truth is not going to be saying all lives matter. We are going to be saying right, because everyone knows that all lives matter.
Yeah, but right now, the focus needs to be on Black Lives Matter, because they're the ones that the people who need to, frankly, readjust their opinion quite spectacularly don't seem to realise.
Let me just reiterate what my colleague is trying to state. He is trying to state the people who are in that pressure is the one that should be mattering. It's not that they don't matter. It's
no. I'm absolutely saying Black Lives Matter. It's the people who think that they don't that need to be kicked into shape here. Nobody else.
Correct. And on top of that, at this moment in time, from time to time, we are just going to mention every now and again on at least once, maybe twice per episode, where we will probably bring up just stating Black Lives Matter, and that's all we're going to be stating, because here's the thing, the reason why we're only going to be stating that is because yes, we can use our power, use the broadcast for powerful messages, and if anybody who does want to possibly come on to the Burning Truth and state their opinions in regards to this matter, under this circumstance, I feel as though the Burning Truth on this matter need to be, because we don't need to have our voices heard, because we're not the ones who are in trouble. We feel as though on this subject, we feel as though somebody else's, others' voices need to be clearly heard much more.
Oh God, yeah, we are in the massive position of being, privilege about this. It's like our opinion, is important, but the opinion of those who are actually
affected
by this directly, which we're not trying to kid anyone, we are not, matter more.
Yes, they do. At this moment in time, and if anybody who is being affected in the situation wants to voice their opinion on the Burning Truth or anything, get in touch with us, and we'll try to make some sort of arrangements involving it, if you want to get
absolutely
a word out, or voice your opinion if necessary.
Yeah,
because as much as we could turn around, and here's the thing, we are going to back Black Lives Matter 100%.
Now and always. This isn't just a fad thing. Now, while it's in the news, it's like we genuinely believe it. It's not just a passing thing. We actually, will continue to do so.
Correct. And we don't just mean that. We don't just mean it for just in this situation. What my colleagues trying to state is we do. This is one subject that we are massively against, which is against racism. We are
Absolutely
against racism.
Against racism in any form at any time, not just now.
We are against racism,
and not just for the reasons it's been brought to the public eye now. Any time for any reason.
Correct. It should not be happening in whatsoever. So from time to time, if we may mention Black Lives Matter during the start of the episode, possibly at the end. We'll be fitting it in at least a minimum of once a week, just so you know.
Just so you know, yeah, that we are still, it's still important, even if it might. I was going to say slip off the radar a little bit. I don't think it's going to anytime soon, but you know what I mean. Even if people start to think, we can go back to normal now or whatever. No. Whatever normal was is clearly not acceptable, or this situation wouldn't have happened. So, don't think we can ever go back to that.
No, and there has been advancements in regards to what has kicked it off. If anybody does want to look at it, we're not going to be going into that too much. If as much, we're just going to be covering, just stating that we support Black Lives Matter because, yes, as we've already stated, we do have an opinion, we do have a voice, but we feel as though their voice needs to be heard wherever ours on that subject.
But we're not going to take it too much further than that today because, as serious as it is, it's not the sole reason for this broadcast, and so we need to just state it and say, right, okay, you've got our stance loud and clear. We need to move on now.
That we do. So with that, we're now pushing on to our regular scheduled programming.
Yes.
Well, a little bit of it. Because I'm going to have to re-bring up some past subject from the last week's episode because we did not get your input on some of the subjects that was covered last week on JB. So
yeah, I'm still here, yeah.
One of them being, what are your thoughts on the Book of One being banned?
I did allude to it briefly there. I think it's probably for the best if, like the pile driver, another move which is notoriously banned, it has got to the point where more often than not it would seem it can't be done safely. Then it's probably safest to put it on the back burner.
Now, it was also briefly mentioned in regards to thoughts of Nia Jax a little bit, as in there was a bit of a discussion of if she is injuring people, then why is she being allowed to be continuing on? If she isn't, does she need to go back to training? And why is she in the position of being in a title match?
Yeah.
And
it's an interesting...
Yeah.
Because she's clearly doing something that... Well, enough people must have seen the move being done to say, oh, that's fine, yeah. But it's difficult to understand what the disconnect is as to why, say, if in training it's fine, but suddenly when it matters on live TV, something goes wrong and suddenly it isn't.
We're not just referring to just the buckle bomb though. We're on about Nia Jax with her tendency recently.
Well, yeah, okay.
Heat.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll probably have to bring that up again at a later episode because a part of me doesn't think that subject's going to be going away anytime soon, and it could be getting escalate
Yeah,
potentially.
more than likely not. It might well be escalated, and yeah, I would just like to. We need to add to that as well, because isn't there something else that's in the process of being? I'm not sure banned, but definitely reviewed and possibly put on the back burner,
Go on.
which is outside the ring dives.
Vince is supposedly, but yes, that has been brought up. Vince McMahon supposedly has got a bit of a mini ban at the moment because ring dive, in his mind, he's saying ring dives fine and nice and everything, but when you haven't got a crowd, no. They might
Yeah,
be doing it
they're
at the
basically
moment. They might be doing it at the moment because of they've got some of the trainees watching the show.
yes.
Potentially.
But at the end of the day, having seen last week's NXT and having seen the still shudder every time I think about it, the landing that a certain NXT superstar took
Ooh.
off the back of, just what would appear to be a random dive to the outside. It was kind of like two people were there. It was kind of like, you catch it. No, you catch it. Oh, shit, she's landed.
In case if anybody wants to know what move she was actually doing, here's an example. And I'm sorry, DDB, you may not like the actual reference I actually call it because the move in question I actually link it more closer to an AEW wrestler by the name of Alan Darby.
Darby Allin.
Oh, yeah. Darby Allin. My mistake.
Yeah, it's the Darby Allin backward outside dive where
it's known as the
technically, yeah, or more technically before Darby Allin started calling it that. I think was referred to as the Fosbury flop because it looks a bit like the high jump move where you sort of go over backwards.
Yes,
but it's ridiculously dangerous because
what makes it
so weird? As Shotzi Blackheart proved, if someone isn't going to catch you, the first thing you know about it is when you hit the floor. And you can't brace for any impact. You can't stop it from hurting. And it just makes what's already a ridiculously dangerous move about 10 leagues worse.
Yes, and on top of that, I feel as though the name that, Darby Allin has given it, which is the coffin drop.
Yeah, sort of strangely and perhaps slightly inappropriate, but also slightly
oddly fitting as well.
Yeah, oddly fitting because of the fact that it. Yeah. Well, if you watch the rest of that NXT match that Blackheart was in, where she's pretty much reaching around to try and get hold of her neck and the top of her shoulders for the rest of the match, like she's knocked herself pretty much goofy.
It wouldn't surprise me if she got a concussion.
Yeah.
On top of that, we've got to mention up quite very quick, briefly, Charlotte. Your thoughts on Charlotte Flair, or should I just dub her the Omni Flair?
My thoughts. Talk. Oh, sweet merciful Jesus, get her off my television.
And it makes it even worse.
What?
We've got to mention it again.
Oh, so not only is she all over every bit of TV WWE puts out, she's also all over this broadcast as well. Jesus, can we get no respite from the woman?
She's on the event that's happening tonight.
Oh yeah, damn it!
I know. She's affecting everybody. I want to mind you when Wrestle Talk bring it up the Omni Flair. Originally, they had the Omni Shane. What makes it even worse is, at least with Shane, he actually has a viable reason of being on across all the shows because he is the owner's son.
Yeah.
What Charlotte Flair's? Okay, she has a legitimate reason for two of them, which is she's a Raw wrestler, contracted Raw wrestler. Yay! She can be on Raw. She is the NXT Women's Champion, which means she has to be on NXT. Yeah.
Okay, turning up on SmackDown again because
Supposedly, the WWE executives want her on the show, and which is they're meant to be limiting the appearances of Raw wrestlers on SmackDown and vice versa, limiting to so many a week or month or something, and yet most of them have already been used on Charlotte.
Yeah.
Flair.
Which makes no sense whatsoever. But we know this already.
Yeah, we know this. Anyway, We also briefly mentioned how Karrion Cross could be potentially have history repeating itself, linking it. And I say this loose termly. I sort of wondered if, because the camera was more focused on Scarlett, on the entrance, as in pointing as main focus instead of Karrion. And then when it came down to the ring action, Karrion is yes, he's big, brutish, and everything, but he just seems a bit restrained, if you get what I mean. If he wants to be coming in like a monster, he should just be coming in, beating people down then, and basically he's not getting paid by the hour.
I'm aware of what you're getting at with that. It's
and on top of that, if they end up getting Scarlett more over than Karrion, could we see a history repeating itself with what happened between Mark Merrill and Sable?
Yes, it's entirely possible. For those of you that watched, there's a weird disconnect with the WWE Network. It's like NXT's a week behind. It's like I haven't seen the latest one yet with all the build up to tonight's In Your House show, which is weird because the latest one on the network, for me at least, is the 27th, which is, last week.
Yeah.
But anyway, on that,
I've watched
during Tommaso Ciampa's match, did Karrion Cross come out? No, Scarlett did. Yeah. And so they're already on their way down that dangerous path. And yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. It could end up... it could end up badly for Mr. Cross.
But then again, I think it might actually work with Karrion and Scarlett, personally. Because they all... Yes, I do. Because I think it'll work between them. Because the one thing between Mark Merrow and Sable, they didn't actually... With Mark Merrow and Sable, they didn't actually do the act on the independent scene, whereas Karrion Cross and Scarlett do.
This is true.
But anyway, that's out the way. We've got plenty to jump into. I was just about to say, shall we jump into predictions? But there is one more topic I've just thought about.
Okay.
Quickly off the top of my head, because you mentioned NXT.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on what happened on the Cruiserweight tournament?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Obviously, I haven't seen this week's NXT yet,
really
so I'm aware of what happened, unfortunately, because the internet exists, but I haven't actually seen the action. But yeah, it's a case of...
Would you like me to just point out my personal views on the match itself?
You can if you so wish.
Personally, the match itself, absolutely amazing, great. Thought the wrong finish happened.
Again, I because of the weird quirk with the network, this latest NXT isn't on there yet, or at least it wasn't for me yesterday when I watched the week before's, so I haven't seen it, but okay, I'll believe you.
It was the wrong finish for me, personally.
Okay.
because of the current storyline. Because in the final, you got Drake Maverick in the final.
Yes.
And the idea is, if he wins, he gets to have the title and keep his job.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Nope. Did they do that? Nope.
They did not do that, no.
Instead, and I apologise if for the life of me, I'm trying to remember how to pronounce the current interim champion's name.
Are you possibly desperately flailing around trying to pronounce El Hijo de Fantasma?
Thank you.
Or in English, if you prefer, Son of the Phantom, or possibly Son of the Ghost, depending on your literal translation of Phantasmo.
Yes, so, and another reason why I'm so glad JB's back.
You're welcome.
Because otherwise I would have butchered that.
Well,
now, for me, I just felt as though the whole match was great. The finish fell a little bit flat.
Yes.
And then straight after,
yeah,
it looked like we're about to have a heartfelt moment.
Mm.
And yes, we did have a heartfelt moment. Now, for me personally, I'm well happy that Spud, aka Drake Maverick, has got a job.
Yeah, we all are, because he deserves it, and
Yeah.
it's not like he hasn't provided some of the most entertaining stuff on WWE TV for the last month.
Yep.
To justify his position.
Correct. And it's just a unique idea. The fact of how they've done it is quite reminiscent. Now, personally, a lot of people have been upset in regards to that storyline, saying, was this all planned from the beginning? And if so, had they just turned the storyline to get people to go, oh, and then completely not realize that people have been sort of, don't forget about the other workers who have not been brought back.
Yeah, it's an odd one, that. I happen to think
However,
they didn't plan it that much in advance, and it just happened to be a bit of a, spur of the moment thing that saw him garner a lot of internet positive reaction for his video, which made them think, maybe we can do something with this. And of course, everyone on the internet just happens to love to complain about everything, so they've just gone, what about all the other workers, eh? When there wasn't actually that thought going through WWE's mind. It was simply, ooh, this is a feel-good story we can cash in on.
Are you ready for
That'll
this?
be the beginning and the end of their thinking.
I need to pause you because they were in WWE's minds. The other workers were.
All right.
Why? They've been offered re-signed contracts.
Of course they have. Now that
most of them have. Now,
yeah, that figures.
Doesn't that sound lovely?
Until you stop and think, well, why did they get rid of them in the first place?
I haven't finished yet.
Let me guess. They've been offered new contracts on substantially less money.
Greatly less money.
Instead of maybe, I don't know, a guaranteed contract of so much a month, they're probably now being offered a per appearance fee. And when you bear in mind that NXT
not
will
even
book
that.
its fringe stars once every month or so, then it's not the same.
No, it's not like that, unfortunately. Now, a lot of people may have noticed that Drew Gulak is back on WWE television already.
Yes.
He has re-signed his contract, possibly to reduce costs. Now, in regards to most of the guys who were laid off, yes, they could be coming back on a greatly reduced contract. However, speculation has been going around that these contract signings are that bad, it is very unlikely you will be seeing them at all coming back anytime soon because they are that bad. In fact, you know it's bad when Impact Wrestling are trying to advertise some of the workers who will let go.
Well, yeah. Hang on. Being released, does that trigger the 90-day no complete clause? Or not? Because there's no way it's been 90 days, so Impact Wrestling might be jumping the gun just a little bit there.
You ready for this?
Go on.
It does mean if you get released or let go by WWE, there is the 90-day contract.
Yeah, so there's no way it's been 90 days, so Impact Wrestling are jumping the gun massively.
Oh, no. With images and their names stating that, EC3 could be coming back. That Drake, that Spud could be coming back. And that a Bulgarian flag could be arriving, or somebody who's linked with a Bulgarian flag. Not hinting there.
Hint with a Bulgarian flag?
Yes.
Oh, right. Okay, so you
and
quite...
others.
Yeah.
And others. Now, there is speculation that could be the case. It might not be. It could be just Impact Wrestling trying to do this to just get people to go, huh?
It could well be nothing more than a publicity stunt. But
yeah, what makes it worse is, and this is where I need to know which one comes first. We need to know if Impact or NXT comes first, because technically, if Drake Maverick was still contracted to WWE throughout the entire process and everything, and this was all part of the storyline, why has Impact Wrestling showcased footage of Spud from the past on their show, hinting that he could very well be coming back.
I think that's a discussion between the Impact Wrestling booking team and WWE's legal division. I don't think we should touch that.
Not touching that with a 50-foot pole.
No.
Ah.
So anyway, whatever the result of that, we'll without trying to incur the wrath of either Impact or WWE's legal divisions, possibly bring you more news on that as it comes. But for now, let's steer around it and try and get to the takeover predictions, unless there's any other news that you haven't got to yet.
FTR on AEW?
FTR, Full Throttle Racing, the club that I'm a member of on Xbox Live.
And if anybody says Fear the Revival, not them, no, for legal reasons, that's an entirely different team.
Okay, so it doesn't mean the team formerly known as Dawson and Wilder.
Yes, it would be that team.
Okay. What are they now known as? Are they now known as the Renewal, the Respite?
FTR.
Just FTR. It doesn't stand for anything. It's just
FTR.
Okay.
Because...
It could stand for Full Throttle Racing. They might have suddenly become Xbox driving game nerds.
It could do. Originally, it looked like they were considering having Fear the Revolt. However...
Yeah, that was the word I was struggling for. The Revolt. I thought that was the name they were going for.
Yeah, slight problem.
What?
#taken.
What, the Revolt?
Yes.
I was going to say, because #FTR, no, that's definitely them. There's no...
No. The Revolt, Fear the Revolt, is already taken by another tag team that is actually from their actual area.
Oh, right.
And they actually know him. Oops.
Okay. Who is that?
That would be the Revolt, which is in a completely different company. However, they've actually sorted it out and stated, nope, we're not being known as that. We're going to be known as FTR. They have shown up. They have done some work on AEW. And
so they're just going to be known as FTR in much the same way that WWE wants us to forget that they're called Authors of Pain and just refer to them as AOP and pretend that doesn't stand for anything.
Yeah.
Similar kind of absolute backtracking nonsense.
I think the reason why they've probably just gone for FTR is to avoid any future legal reasons against others.
To avoid facing the repercussions, see what I did there, of WWE's legal division.
Nope, it's not WWE's legal division. It's another wrestling company. It's from others.
Oh, the company that the actual FTR or the Revival or the Revolt or whatever they're called. Yeah, the company that the Revolt work for.
Yeah.
Which is who, by the way? Just for those of us that don't know.
It wasn't the company that was actually threatening to sue. It was the actual tag team.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah. But anyway.
Nest of vipers there.
Yeah. They managed to duck and dodge and dive. It looked like we were going to get...
Hey, guys, if you want to call yourselves Full Throttle Racing and become gamer nerds, checks made payable to the Burning Truth.
No. I don't think they want to go down that road because if you remember... What did Vince have planned for them?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they want to go down that route. Anyway.
Probably not. Hey, it was just an idea to earn some money, checks payable to the Burning Truth and all that. But no, never mind.
Never mind. We'll now jump. We'll continue on. It looked like we were about to get the Young Bucks versus FTR.
Yeah.
However, it looked like FTR came to the save of the Young Bucks by beating down the Butcher and the Blade.
Indeed.
It was an interesting
I
turn
really
of events.
should actually start watching the AEW Dynamites that I keep recording on TV.
And Darks.
Yes.
Which are free on YouTube.
Ah, yeah, well, there you go.
Best thing
I
about
definitely
it.
should.
Hell, it's even got thingy on it now. Cage.
Cage?
Remember from Impact Wrestling?
Cassius Cage, Christian Cage, Crimson Cage, Killer Cage. Give me a clue here.
The one half of the Unbreakable fucking Machines cage.
Okay, fair enough. Is that their official tag team name?
What, the Unbreakable fucking Machines with Michael Algin?
Yes.
Yes.
Nice. That's nearly as much of an in-your-face tag team name as the independent UK scene tag team consisting of Eddie Dennis and Mark Andrews.
Yeah.
Whose name had to be abbreviated to the first letters of each word because apparently saying fuck shit up on family shows doesn't go down very well.
Fun stuff up.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't really work. So they had to be referred to as FSU for obvious reasons.
I absolutely love it. But anyway.
Yes. Hands up who'd like to see a reformation of that tag team in NXT UK. Or just form a faction, those two and Flash Morgan Webster.
I think I'll just keel over.
I think it'd be great.
It'd be great TV.
But, yeah. However, Andrews and Webster as heels. I'd like to see it, but only to be convinced that they can actually do it. But that's a lead on to our main topic in a bit. That's a little hint as to what's to come. But we really should get on with predictions for In Your House, because otherwise this is going to be the longest episode ever.
Yeah, pretty much. Let's just jump straight into it. We are covering the NXT TakeOver In Your House predictions, which NXT TakeOver In Your House is occurring tonight.
And we are only covering the predictions, 6 matches, so we have to assume TakeOver, that's standard, that's probably the full card so far available on the Wikipedia page for NXT TakeOver In Your House. Any extra matches which get added on the night or stuff which hasn't been announced yet, obviously we're not mind readers, we can't predict that. But let's go with the card. Shall we start? Have you got the Wikipedia page up?
I've already got it up.
Shall we start at the bottom?
Yes,
with number 6.
We should. Yes, and let's just state this: we're not being paid by Wikipedia.
We are not paid by Wikipedia. Other internet search engines and internet sources of information are available. This just happens to be the one we use,
including the WWE.com, which is possibly available, but what
WWE.com. And all the other pro wrestling sites, fan sites, etc., that exist out there. There's thousands of the bastards. And you could probably get this information on most of them.
Correct. Could not have said that better myself. But anyway, let's get down to business. We'll start I'm not sure if there's going to be any pre-show matches, potentially.
This is what I'm saying. If there are, we don't know, but there'll probably be one, but something tells me it will probably be a defense of the interim Cruiserweight Championship. Just a thought.
Possibly. No. You mean the interim one? Possibly. But anyway, let's just get down to business.
But anyway, yeah.
We're only going to be predicting these 6 matches that are currently that we know about. So we'll start off with the first match that we're predicting, which is, ladies and gentlemen, the 6 women's tag team match.
Pitting Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, and Raquel Gonzalez against Mia Yim, Tegan Knox, and we have to assume Shotzi Blackheart hasn't knackered herself and will be there. Let's fingers crossed on that one.
I was actually going to add on a nickname to it.
Go on.
Please fucking catch me. Shotzi Blackheart.
Shot Z out of a cannon, Blackheart.
Yeah. And she actually has her own tank, at least.
Blackheart, currently very purple shoulders, but that's just the bruising. It'll go down.
Please, if you are going to be doing any dives, Shotzi, make sure they catch you!
Yes. Anyway, Yim, Blackheart, Knox versus LeRae, Kai, and Gonzalez. 6-woman tag team match. Good old-fashioned story. Yay, people against boo, people. Something tells me about 6 months after it was due to the interference of a certain Miss Gonzalez, this will finally be the moment that Tegan Knox gets a decisive victory over Dakota Kai and finally buries that rivalry. Because she hasn't got one yet.
So you're going to go with me again, Shotzi Blackheart against Tegan Knox?
To get the win. Yes, I am.
Devil's advocate.
You're not. Good, because if we're different, that at least means one of us is going to be wrong and therefore the other one is going to win. This isn't a competition, but hey, one of us has got to win, otherwise what's the point?
Yes, correct. So I'm just going in for the 6.
You're going for the big nasty bunch of heels.
Yes. The reason why, simply because I feel as though, yes, I could go for the faces if I wanted to.
But you're instead going for the narcissistic New Zealander, the poison pixie, and the massive Mexican.
Yes, because the reason why I think that is because Candice LeRae needs the victory, especially with the fact of she seems to be fitting herself almost into a mainstream status.
No, I completely understand that, and I think she will get them in the weeks to come. But like I said, Tegan Knox, due to injury, interference, and Raquel Gonzalez, has yet to decisively beat Dakota Kai since War Games, and it's overdue. So that's my reasoning for why I think it's going to happen tonight.
Yep.
Okay. So we disagree, but that's cool. Let's move on to the singles match for the NXT North American Championship.
Correct.
The challenger, Mr. All Heart No Soul, Johnny Gargano.
A.K.A. Johnny Wrestling.
Against the champion, the Limitless One, Keith Lee. Yeah. This is a match that has got match of the night written all over it.
Bask in his glory.
Trust me, we all do.
Or as I believe Cultaholic keeps singing, don't you forget about Keith Lee.
Yes, because we all get a craving for ice cream whenever Keith Lee's around. Because we all Baskin Robbins in his glory. Sorry, what?
That was just bad. I love it. But anyway, let's get on to the predictions.
And some people might think about Tiger King as well, but let's not go there. Let's not go there.
Let's not go there. No. Moving on.
My prediction for this one is: here is your winner and new NXT North American champion after mucho shenanigans and shortcuts and possible interference from Candice and possible interference from other people and more shenanigans, Mr. Johnny Gargano.
I'm glad.
Because you think the opposite, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Lovely.
I know. What's going on?
This is like topsy-turvy land. So, okay, I think new champ Gargano. You think Keith Lee to retain. This is going surprisingly quickly. It's going well. Let's keep up the momentum.
And the reason why I think that is because I feel as though Gargano has been having more dominance on Keith Lee. You know, come on. The guy uses freaking car keys to jab him in the eye.
Yeah. I just think they're trying to build Johnny Gargano as a legitimate heel, and therefore either by blatant cheat tactics or simply by fluke and, pure, fluke and luck, Gargano weaseling his way to a victory over a guy twice his size will make people hate him quite a lot, especially if he steals the North American title in the process.
Correct.
Again, like his North American title and NXT title runs before, I don't predict a long title reign, just enough to make the point that he's a bastard.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, I agree with that.
Okay. But you think it's not going to happen because you think Keith Lee's going to retain. Fair enough.
I do. But one thing I've noticed is you went for Candice LeRae to lose and I've gone for her to win. So with that couple, at least one of them's losing and one's winning.
Yeah. Yes. I hadn't noticed that, but yeah, it's true. We have. Okay, let's move on.
I have other reasons why I can see Keith Lee winning. One of
them... Oh well, yeah, it's the same with the other side of the divide as well.
Yes.
Because I think Mia Yim is going to win, but Keith Lee is going to lose, and you're the opposite. So, yeah.
Which is nice. But I think Gargano's going to be involved in Candice LeRae's match. He's going to get them the win. Candice LeRae's going to attempt to end Keith Lee's match, and Mia Yim's going to make the save. And finally, Keith Lee's going to pretty much get Gargano.
It's very viable, and we shall see later tonight. But that's cool. Let's move on to the last chance backlot brawl for the NXT Championship, during which the match has been telegraphed so spectacularly because the stipulation is such that there can only be one result. Because if the challenger loses, he can no longer challenge for the NXT Championship while it is still held by the champion.
Yes, but there's also additional information to add on to this once the predictions have been done.
Are you going to wait till after the predictions, or
that could very well change and shift the predictions?
Well, in that case, surely it is only fair to introduce said information now.
Ooh, right, but however, the only problem is it's probably going to stay the same with us because rumor has it that one of them, their contract is due up soon. And they haven't aimed for a re-signing.
Are we talking one of these two, or one of the many people who will probably interfere in this match?
No, it's actually involved one of the participants.
Okay, so I have a feeling that you know more than I do, and that we're going to pick the opposite sides again.
I don't think we are. I think we're going to actually go for the exact same one.
Well, let's see, shall we? What are you going for? Since I've gone first both times so far.
Velveteen Dream.
Really?
Yes.
Disappointingly, you are correct. We are going for the same thing.
The reason being is...
Adam Cole, dream over.
Pretty much. But then again, it's Adam Cole whose contract is actually potentially due to be running out as well.
Yeah, but the thing is, if it does run out, he'll be re-signed. And I've got a feeling he's been NXT champion for 370 days. Got a feeling he's going to be showing up on SmackDown fairly soon.
Rumour has it that could very well happen. However, the difference is if they don't, he could end up joining some friends and his girlfriend.
Hang on, I'm just trying to think. His girlfriend is in AEW.
Yes.
But I can't think who it is.
Britt Baker.
See, I was going to say that, but I was so convinced I was wrong. Yeah, there you go.
No.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. I know.
By the way, you forgot to add the Doctor.
Okay, the Doctor, Britt Baker. You know, the one who is everyone should be looking up to.
Yeah.
Inadvertently.
Well, anyway, remains to be seen. But I think, new champion.
I do. 100%, without a shadow of a doubt. It needs to be a new champion.
Yeah. This was already filmed the day after last week's NXT, apparently.
Which I will be mentioning some additional news in regards to the filming of that, because it did actually have an effect on certain people who were at the
that figures. Okay. But are we going to do that now, or are we going to leave it till we've done the other three matches quickly?
Then we've done the other three matches.
Okay. Singles match. Finn Balor versus Damian Priest, the arsehole of infamy. Versus the Prince. I would just like to point out, for legal reasons, I know it's actually the Archer of Infamy, but much like Karen Boring on Raw, I don't like the guy, so I'll call him what I like.
Right. Damian Priest is a good wrestler. What's his win record?
Pretty abysmal.
And how has he got himself into a position where he's against top athletes regularly?
Basically by attacking them.
So, aren't people just getting clued up to this shit?
You would imagine so, wouldn't you? You would imagine someone of the caliber and, longevity of Finn Balor would be wise to it.
And doesn't he have a frickin' demon side?
Yes. I don't think he's going to need it, though. I think he's going to win, essentially.
Hang on. Finn Balor Isn't he a heel?
Well, in theory,
Meant to be.
yes. Although he's
so
sort
who
of...
turned?
No, it's one of those rarer than hen's teeth things where I think they're testing the water to see how Damian Priest not being a heel gets over. But at the first sign that no one's buying it, they're just going to pretend it never happened.
Right. Damian Priest being a face by attacking a wrestler.
Exactly. This is how it makes no sense. And Finn Balor basically being a face by saying he doesn't care about anything, and if you come for him, he'll take you out and he'll drop you on your face. And yeah, it's basically heel versus heel, and I don't really get it. But I think Finn Balor's going to win.
Finn Balor.
Fairly swiftly.
Moving on
to the triple threat match for the NXT Charlotte Flair is Everywhere Championship. Featuring Rhea Ripley, Io Shirai, and Charlotte Flair. Sorry, did I mention Charlotte Flair is in this match?
Not enough.
I would just like to point out, the Burning Truth is contractually obliged to mention Charlotte Flair at least 20 times an episode. Because we talk about WWE, and Charlotte Flair is an important part of the WWE machine.
We're still 2 under.
Hint, I'm joking, legal people.
We're still 2 under.
2 under? What, you mean I haven't mentioned Charlotte Flair enough?
No, you haven't mentioned Charlotte Flair enough yet. But now we have.
Well, we're talking about this match in which the NXT Women's Champion, Charlotte Flair, is fighting against her own ego. Oh, and also, incidentally, Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai. By the way, Rhea Ripley, new gear. Black with green and white bits on. Much better than the white and blue. She's a heel. She should wear black. End of discussion.
Rhea Ripley's heel.
Oh, wait, no, she isn't. Shit. Needless to say.
We'll get onto that subject
undermines my own argument. The point is, however, she's called the Mosh Pit Kid. She likes metal. She should wear black with studs on it. That's just a fact.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that subject later on.
Anyway, the point of this match is it's a triple threat match. So Ripley and Shirai are going to argue with each other, and it's going to cause Charlotte Flair to win by some backdoor method.
I want to be wrong.
I really, really, really want to be wrong, but I can't see it happening.
I want to be wrong.
But you agree, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because... And it makes it even more painful.
Go on.
The fact that Charlotte Flair, a few weeks ago on Raw, was fighting for a number one contendership for the WWE Raw Women's Championship.
Oh dear.
She's the NXT fucking Women's Champion.
Yeah. Because she has to be everywhere.
No. What makes it so stupid is, why is she fighting for a number one contendership to potentially become WWE Raw Women's Champion when she's already NXT Women's Champion already?
Yeah, because she is Omni Flair. She cannot be, stopped or something. I'm sorry, but I just don't care.
I can't remember if she was penned or not, but it doesn't matter.
I just don't care.
Yeah.
It's basically a massive waste of Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai, because it should basically still be Ripley as champion in a one-on-one match against Shirai, and Flair should be on Raw. But sadly, we can't appear to have that. So
no, we can't have nice things.
No, we're not allowed nice things because apparently we criticise Vince too much, and this is his way of paying us back.
God damn it.
Anyway, I'm saying Flair to win. I think you're saying the same, aren't you?
Yep.
Okay, so let's move on to the singles match,
which will be the main event.
Tommaso Ciampa and Karrion Kross with Scarlett, who I'm disappointed hasn't taken the Eva Marie approach and dyed her hair red because she's called Scarlett.
She probably hasn't done that because they've probably got her in the wings ready to make a debut or something. Make a return.
Oh, God. Just don't tempt fate, will you?
I'm sorry, but I've just done it.
You bar steward.
And on top of that, knowing look, if she did that, then there'd probably be a cease and desist.
Yeah, probably. I am massively conflicted about this match. Because on the one hand, they might want to build Karrion Kross up in the way they build up all new heels and some faces in this day and age. Massive win streak! Until he meets a champion who puts him down far too easily, and then he stumbles into the mid-card, as is the normal case. But that would make no sense because it would undermine Tommaso Ciampa. But if they're trying to build Karrion Kross as the next big thing, Tommaso Ciampa winning kind of undermines him. So it doesn't really strike me as there's a winner that benefits all sides here.
The difference is Tommaso Ciampa can take the loss in this match.
You see, I don't think he can.
I think he can.
WWE would much rather have Kross basically realise that not everybody in NXT is the guys he's literally wiped the floor with so far, and that he's actually going to have to step his game up. He can look good in a throwing everything at the kitchen sink and still losing effort, and that's what I'd like to see.
No, I think the only way he could lose is if it's through disqualification.
That would also be possible, but after a back and forth brawl that is absolutely the polar opposite of his squash matches on NXT so far, during which he and Scarlett get so frustrated that they, I don't know, maybe Scarlett punches Ciampa in the face or something, right in the view of the ref. I don't know.
Yeah, pretty much. Or Karrion Kross decides to just take Ciampa's head off.
Or possibly he simply. I've got a feeling the ending might be that Ciampa passes out and the decision gets reversed when Kross just simply refuses to release the hold.
That's yours. For me, I'm going to go with Karrion Kross.
Okay.
Outright, because he needs to have the win.
No, that's fair enough.
As much as I am a fan of Tommaso Ciampa. Okay, Tommaso Ciampa. As much as I am a massive fan of his work. The Sicilian psychopath.
Indeed. Again, little prelude to what we're going to talk about in a minute.
Yeah,
Small clue in the name. The Sicilian psychopath. He's not a good guy with that name. Seriously.
Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, I'm going with Ciampa to win. You're going with Kross to win. Fair enough. That's all good. That's wrapped that up.
Yeah. Kross is going to get the win. Simply because Ciampa has been near off the top. He needs to come down a little bit, but he will regain his footing. He will.
Oh, yeah, well.
And there is speculation that there is multiple workers potentially heading up as well.
Oh, the huge numbers of new people who they've got, most of whom were in the crowd for the last couple of weeks behind the plexiglass ice hockey shields.
Take into account one of your favourite guys are going to SmackDown.
Is he now?
Yeah, bro.
I never said he was one of my favourite guys. He gets right on my tits.
That's why I said he's one of your favourites.
Oh, right. You're being sarcastic, right?
Yeah, of course I am.
I would quite frankly, possibly without losing the teeth, but I would like to take the Timothy Thatcher approach with him. I've got to be brutally honest.
Potentially. But let me just state this to you. He was almost paired up with Kurt Angle.
Wow.
Do you know what next it in the head?
Go on.
Kurt Angle himself.
Fair enough.
Why the hell do you need me? He can talk. He knows he's going to be better than me.
That's a very valid point, Mr. Angle. You've got your head screwed on. Congratulations.
And he just goes, if you're going to have me manage somebody, why don't you have me manage, why don't you let me manage the one guy I originally wanted to, because he has a history of Olympic wrestling.
Yeah.
Would you be talking Chad about Gable,
the artist known only as Chad Gable?
Well,
and not Short Arse F or whatever they tried to call him.
Or not the other way of saying, what's another word for small, and just change his name from a full name to a letter.
Yeah. Like I said, Midget Q. Right, okay. That's that done. I'm afraid you're going to have to just talk for a second, because I might possibly have nailed a whole can of energy drink during this broadcast so far.
Well, I'll cover that. I'll cover this bit. All
Yeah.
I'm just going to state is the following is in regards to if you were in attendance, well, if you were one
Back
of
in
the
a
workers, if you were one of the people who was a part of the NXT roster or a trainee of the WWE, you were actually watching all these shows and watching Raw, watching SmackDown, watching NXT TakeOver in your house, and you think, yes, I'm getting paid to watch other people to wrestle, so I'm not getting to do what I love. And that is a shame, because at the same time, yes, they're getting paid. At least they're doing something to try and help build the product up. However, the biggest issue I feel as though what's been occurring on wrestling is, I think a lot of people have been quite literally fed up because they've been having to do long waiting periods where they're having to stand up watching matches, and we're not talking a little bit. We are talking 12 hours plus. And on top of that, one of the matches that were massively affected by this would be none other than the last chance backlot brawl for the NXT Championship. Now, supposedly they actually had certain people grab some of their cars to drive out, because the match was actually done outside. What could go wrong with a match outside? Oh, wait, weather. Great. Unfortunately, what ended up happening is they had some bad weather, meaning a bit of rain, which means, that's not going to be any good for the ring, and it's not going to do many favours. It's going to look a little bit not great. So what they've ended up having to do is get all the cars outside, light up the ring using their headlights from cars, and pretty much get it all lit up and showcased and everything, and do the match repeatedly. Now, the problem with this I have is, if this match was having to be recorded repeatedly, is there going to be some time frame involved in this match? Is it going to go from night to day to day to night to day? Or is it just going to be all done in one take? Now, that's the thing. If that was the match meant to be all done in one take, what would happen if they get all the way through the match, they're about to do the big finish, and rain comes in and ruins the entire match? It just seems a bit illogical.
Right, for those of you who weren't aware, I have just been for a brief bathroom break. I have come back in. I assume you're talking about the Gold Dust Backlot Brawl from WrestleMania. Sorry, no, I mean the Last Chance Brawl.
Yes, and how it potentially affected the people in attendance. Did you know that the people who were in attendance have actually had to stand up and watch multiple TV viewings in one setting? Meaning,
Yeah, that wouldn't
Raw,
surprise me.
SmackDown, NXT. We're talking 12 hours plus.
Wow. Earning their money.
Standing.
Needless to say, if the Backlot Brawl was filmed over the course of many, many attempts,
yeah,
there is one simple way they could have done it, and it wouldn't have mattered what time of day or night it was.
Go on.
Lens filters. To make the whole damn thing look like it's night just by putting a dark filter on the sky. It's a common thing that they do in films if they need to shoot extended night times.
Potentially. But anyway, the point being is, with it, is the fact that if they've been doing, then if they did that, wouldn't it show up when they actually put the headlights on the car?
Possibly.
That's how they highlighted the ring, using the car headlights.
Yeah. Well, in that case, I'm not sure, to be honest. That's just a cheap trick that they use in cinema. It's like they black out the lens so that it looks like it's dark, even though it actually isn't. But yeah, I don't know.
I know what you're saying.
Suspension of disbelief and all that.
Yeah, but the point being is, I've just been reiterating, stating, if they were there for multiple times, because supposedly people weren't able to get home until early hours in the morning, because lo and behold, the match took place outside. What could go wrong?
Oh, only everything.
How about weather?
Yeah, exactly. Did it pee down? It might
Yes,
have done.
it did.
Lovely. Oh, was it a little bit like what was it? The classic WWF event from the late 80s. I think it might have had a battle royal in it featuring Big John Studd, in which he famously fell over because it was held in a stadium somewhere and it pissed down. And the canvas was somewhat like an ice rink.
Now, supposedly, that is the reason why they ended up having to put it off. But anyway, supposedly people weren't able to return to their hotel or to, basically until 3 o'clock in the morning.
Good Lord.
That's how long the recordings were.
Wow. Mind you, that's a downer. To just counterbalance that with an upside from last week's NXT.
Yeah.
Basically, I've just been reminded of it while I've been away from the microphone briefly.
Yeah.
The entirety of the Mia Yim and Keith Lee taking the mickey out of the Garganos bit. Genius from start to finish. Pure genius.
Yeah.
It's just the Keith Lee is a fantastic actor. Props to the guy.
And translate, don't you forget about Keith Lee.
Don't you dare. It was just all the little things, like his sudden aside of talking to the camera. Oh, apparently she's got a key. When Tegan Knox came in with the pizza. I thought that was good. The reference, obviously, to Gargano's Pizza, which is the business that Johnny's dad owns. Nice little plug there that WWE didn't have to make for the family business. The fact that upon bringing it over, Tegan Knox ate all of the pizza. And when they were imitating the whole talking the truth bit that the Garganos do, Keith Lee shone the torch in his eyes and was like, ow, bloody hell, and then put the torch down on the table like at the third go afterwards and went, that was interesting, but now I'm blind. The whole thing was, well, we knew Keith Lee was the kind of guy who had a sense of humour, but that highlighted it very well. I thought it's a genius. It should be one of those things in the curriculum of if you're going to be a wrestler, because you know how wrestling and comedy are like oil and water. On more occasions than they don't go together very well. If you're going to do comedy in wrestling, that should be a required watch. That whole sketch, it was brilliant.
Definitely. And are you ready for the other rumoured NXT superstar who could be going up?
Who could be making their way to the blue or red brands?
Yes.
I'm not, but I'm sat down, so go for it.
Rumour has it that potentially Dominik Dijakovic.
Makes sense since he's not really got a great deal to do in NXT.
Yes, could be going up. And do you want to know why this is all happening? I know what you're thinking. Why are all these supposed call-ups happening, or should we say, these transfers are happening from NXT to...
because NXT has a performance centre full of new guys waiting in the wings, and they haven't got time for all of them as it is.
That's one. And are you ready for the next one?
Go on.
Because it's falling WWE ratings.
Oh yeah, the ratings suck. Just keep throwing NXT guys at it until basically Raw and SmackDown are just NXT alumni. And if that doesn't stop it, fuck knows what Vince is going to do. But
pretty much. And what makes it even more worrying is the fact that they're just rinse repeating. And it's not like, oh, wait, are they actually saying, oh wait, we've had a rating drop. Throw a new guy in. Another rating drop. Throw a new guy in. Aren't people going to get clued up?
You would have thought so, wouldn't you? But then you might possibly be overestimating the general intelligence level of wrestling fans.
True. And
harsh but true.
Yeah, that is a quick discussion in regards to that. However, I've got one brief mention I've got to bring up.
Yep.
Before we get on to our supposed main topic.
Which is only going to be brief today because we've not got much time left, but we'll just cover it briefly. We can always come back to it in future. But anyway, your mention is...
Check out on WWE Network
Yep.
Undertaker: The Last Ride series.
Oh yeah, I have watched the first episode. Trust me, I have got a week off work this week coming up.
Lucky for some.
One of my things on my to watch list, which is so long that it starts where I live, just outside parts unknown, and ends just outside Dexter Loomis's front door in Recluse, Wyoming. It's that bloody long. But trust me, the Undertaker series is right at the top of that list.
Oh my god, that is brilliant. All I'm just going to say is you are going to love this week's NXT if you're able to catch up on it beforehand.
I'm going to switch the network on as soon as we're done here, and I shall hopefully get that done.
And speaking of the network, there's a free version coming out soon.
A free version?
Yes.
Tell me more, if you can.
Past episodes, including past NXT takeovers, past events, some of the actual series, like Ride Along and everything, and certain things are going to be actually out from the WWE Network for free.
Is that going to feature advertising? Is that how they're making their money?
Potentially, but it's not going to be like the main pay-per-views or anything. It's going to be some. Notice the words they have stated, not all pay-per-views.
Oh, so some. So they're going to cherry pick. So to start with, it'll be WCW Fall Brawl 97, ECW Uncensored 95, and In Your House Bad Blood.
Yeah, potentially.
And that'll be it. Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Essentially, what WWE are trying to do here is say, look, you tight-fisted bastards, just pay $9.99 a month. There's so much content on here. How can you not?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
We know there are economic times and everything, and you may have been laid off from work, or you may only be getting 80% of your pay, but it's $9.99, for God's sake.
Correct. But the idea being is, it's still like, it's almost like a free taster.
But yeah, I get that's the general idea. I'm sure it's to keep you tight, so that you can still have a taster of stuff if, for whatever reason, maybe finances are bad and you can't afford the $9.99 for a couple of months.
I actually think it's a clever idea.
Mm.
I do, but especially for how much advertisement that could actually end up on it, advertising the WWE Network, where, to get the full content out, you get it for $9.99, but then you've got a free version where you get where it's very much restricted. Okay, you've still got some blemishes on there, but then anybody who's interested in the network will see some of the, the little golden nuggets and see us go, ooh, hang on, if this is the free version, what's the full version got?
Well, exactly. I think that's the idea.
Yeah, which is absolutely genius. Now, anyway, we need to get on to the... Shall we jump onto the main topic, or are we going to push it on for next week?
Well, it's entirely... I mean, we can mention it, but I think what we should probably do is just talk about it for a bit, and then if anyone wants to get in touch via the Burning Truth social media for if we're right, if we're wrong, if we've forgotten anyone, and we can carry it on next week if we get enough feedback.
We'll make it a bit of a two-parter, shall we?
Yeah. Because essentially it's not a long topic of discussion. Well, I don't think so. It depends how much you've got to say, but I will get over it fairly briefly. It's just... Here's the long and the short of it. I have a question for WWE management. Why do you feel so keen and so insistent on taking established superstars from either your own development system or elsewhere where people already know who they are and making them do the complete polar opposite of what people know them for?
Maybe because they want to see if they can work out another thing, another style?
Yeah, well, I understand that, but it's just that they've got, at the moment, specifically I'm going to refer to NXT here, but I mean, it occurs elsewhere as well. But the general, excuse me, just a sec. Just need to turn a light on in here so I can actually read my handwriting. Essentially, NXT is the thing, but it does happen on the main roster as well. Yeah. But here is a prime example. Do you know the lyrics to Mia Yim's entrance music and what she calls herself as her nickname?
No. Go
on. You obviously weren't watching NXT a couple of weeks ago when Johnny Gargano decided to sing along. briefly.
Go on.
She refers to herself, and her entrance music says as much, as the head baddie in charge.
Oh, yeah.
I know. Dreadful, but for some reason the WWE greenlighted it. It's in her entrance music, and she's a face.
I don't mind that, actually. Come on. That's almost like having a gripe with bloody Razor Ramon for calling himself, "Hey, yo, I'm the bad guy."
Well, yeah, it is kind of on that level, but this is the problem that I have. It's like,
come on, Razor Ramon got the Al Pacino gimmick. It's from Scarface over as a face.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I remain to be seen. Keith Lee as a face, yes. Mia Yim as a face, I'm not sold yet.
What?
Okay, the whole skit with Keith Lee, where they were eating dinner,
sorry,
went a long way to pushing me on the right path.
Have you actually looked into Mia Yim's past of what she's actually overcome? What she's had to overcome for wrestling and everything?
Oh, no, I'm fully aware of that, don't get me wrong. It's just, traditionally, she plays someone who, as a result of all the shit that's happened to her, doesn't really give a flying fuck anymore. And so to actually, go for the sympathy card.
No, but at the same time, the sympathy card only plays so much. She's doing something to be edgy a little bit, almost, even though WWE tried to be edgy too much.
Oh, do they ever?
Yeah.
Here is a small list of the people who are currently faces in WWE and NXT, who you just hear the name and you just think, really?
Oh, wait, are we going to be replaying back, Tomas, the Sicilian psychopath?
He is one, yes. He is the Sicilian psychopath. He's your friend.
Daddy's home.
Yes. He is one. Tommaso Ciampa is indeed one. Kevin Owens is another.
But he's in between.
Don't get me wrong. He's fantastic at whatever he does. Everything the guy touches turns to gold.
Yeah.
But he's just like The Miz, who is another one.
No, I disagree.
The Miz and Kevin Owens' natural position should be heels.
No, he shouldn't. No, he shouldn't. If you actually paid attention to Kevin Owens' independent days, you would know he's an absolute supreme, amazing face. Especially when he was literally having a bidding war over how many chops he was going to give somebody. One, two, three. No, what? I got five. And then gets chopped himself.
Right, you are, if you say so. My personal standpoint on this is literally everything he did from his entrance in the Indies to his whining git persona, all the way which he carried through into his, prize fighter gimmick in NXT.
Yeah.
He's just a naturally good heel, the same as The Miz.
Yes.
Fair enough. It's basically like Randy Orton being a face. It just doesn't work.
True, but the difference is Kevin Owens is also a family man. Massively.
Yeah, well. Anyway, the point being the face list is not as solid as the heel list. Yes. The WWE's current heel list, especially NXT's, is basically full of home run faces, and I don't get any of it.
Go on.
Okay, let's start at the weaker end of the spectrum, shall we?
Yeah.
Shinsuke Nakamura.
Come on!
Why is that guy a heel? What does he gain from being associated with Sami Zayn? Oh yeah, that's right, nothing. Why does he feel the need to act like he doesn't care? And also, simply because he's a heel. Why did they ruin his entrance music? Why? It doesn't bloody need words. Why? Yeah, it doesn't need words. Anyway, another person who has form as both, but whose name kind of gives away what side of the pond he should be on, and if he's going to be a heel, his nickname and the first word of his ring name should be changed.
Yeah.
because gentleman Jack Gallagher should not be a heel unless he calls himself Bastard Jack Gallagher instead or something.
No, I'm fine with Gentleman Jack Gallagher.
No, I'm fine with him being a heel. What I'm saying is
I am fine with the
gentlemen
name.
are not heels. Gentlemen are gentlemen. That's the point.
True, but at the same time, it's ironic. It's irony that WWE is trying to play. I can see what they're trying to do. But then again, well, hang on. You're saying that to us. Do you know who else you should be blaming on this? The entire freaking movie industry at one point during the 80s and 90s, where they actually had, let's pick a villain that's not American. Let's go for British. Let's go for somebody from another country. Russian. Well, take into account, a lot of people just now thinking, was there ever a British villain that was on a film? How about this one? Cliffhanger. John Lithgow, who's the main villain. He's British.
Yes. The point, aside from that, the point I was trying to make was he's called Gentleman Jack and he has a moustache and he carries an umbrella and he's not a bad guy, is he? Come on.
He has tattoos. No.
Now, he didn't have 9 months ago when they first turned him heel. Yeah. Also, tattoos don't make you a bad guy.
True, they don't.
I basically had them when they made me be a superhero, remember?
And I have them as well.
Yes. Dakota Kai.
Yes.
Why is she a heel? Okay, I understand someone had to turn because apparently that friendship had to die for ratings, but I just don't think she works as a heel. Hence why I think they've had to throw Raquel Gonzalez in there to actually make her in any way menacing or make anyone in any way feel that she's a threat.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Also, Io Shirai.
Whoa.
Right?
Excuse me?
Now, this is a contentious one, I know, because she's bloody good at it. There is no way of arguing that.
I was just about to say, you see your front door? Walk the hell out of it. She is great as a heel.
She is great at being a heel, but my issue with it is...
Yeah?
She was in the company less than 6 months when they pulled the trigger, and they did it in really sloppy circumstances. And frankly, I think she had a good 2.5 years more as a face first, just slowly building up the resentment before she finally snapped, rather than just going, "Oh, bum, I lost one match. I'm going to be dark now." If you see what I mean. They could have done it in a far more spectacular
Basically, what you're upset with is the fact of how they turned it, not if they should turn it.
That's just as much of an issue.
That's fine. I'm fine with that. I can agree with that. The reason
I'm not arguing
she's
not spectacular at it, but
that's fine.
The reasoning has got to be important. See also the golden couple of this argument.
Wait. Before you even get to the golden couple, I need to just reiterate that you almost slipped up earlier over Rhea Ripley, remember?
Oh, yeah. I'm not 100% sure that she should be a face either, to be honest. She wears black with studs on it. She's the mosh pit kid. She's bigger than you. She has a really bad attitude. That screams heel to me. But
I'm actually fine with her being a face.
Well, also, she should only wear black, as proved by her WrestleMania outfit, which just didn't suit.
Never denied that.
And... yeah, black is traditionally the colour of heels in... well, okay, it's a very black and white thing. It's not anymore, but you know what I mean. Just ask Io Shirai. Wear bright colours. I'm a heel, I wear black now.
Get with the times, Blow. Get with the times. The colour doesn't matter. No hint there.
I'm talking about the colour of their apparel.
I'm just saying colours don't matter. Doesn't matter.
Well, I'm aware of that, but I'm talking about clothes.
And so am I.
Okay, just making that clear.
Same.
But seriously, the golden couple of you're on the wrong side of the divide, love. Johnny Goody Two Shoes.
I'm fine with Gargano turning. I'm fine with Gargano turning.
I'm really, really not.
Wait. I said I was fine with it. I never said I was yippee about it.
No, I'm not fine with it.
No,
Seriously.
No, for me...
This is one of those things, right? It's a bit like...
Basically, what you're saying is you're upset that they've turned Johnny Gargano, especially against Tommaso Ciampa, who basically tried to end his career, tried to break his neck and everything, and because of that, people should be saying, "Oh, forgive Tommaso Ciampa," but hate.
Tommaso Ciampa should be going round going, you want to step to me? I'll put you on the same injured list I put that weakling. Come on then. I'm the Sicilian psychopath. Annoy me and I'll kill you. And he shouldn't be getting cheered for it. In much the same vein that Johnny Wrestling is a fan favourite. And it strikes me that WWE's sole reason for making him into a bitter, whining, spiteful heel is because they could. Not because they needed to, not because they wanted to, because they could. And that is no reason to do a heel turn whatsoever.
Take into account, you're saying that about, he should be a heel, should be a face. Are you ready for this? Do you know another wrestler who should have stayed a heel but ended up being a face somehow?
Braun Strowman?
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
No. Stone Cold Steve Austin was the WWE's version of Dave Rain.
Take into account, right, that Steve Austin, when he coined his "you sit there and you thump your Bible" 316 quote of the millennium, right, he was in fact an actual heel dissing the face Jake the Snake Roberts, who had the storyline of being a recovering alcoholic.
But he, as I said, and I'm sure the man himself will appreciate the plug, he was WWE's Dave Rain. In that, he could literally come out, pick up a microphone, say, "You're stupid and your wife's ugly, and now I'm going to drop all your heroes on their heads." And the crowd was so ingrained at cheering him, they would carry on. There was nothing they could do. He just made himself a face by force of the crowd. Whereas with Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae, it's the complete opposite. It's like, you are hardwired to like this guy, so we're going to force you not to.
You must hate him. Oh, wait.
Yes.
Almost a bit like how Charlotte Flair's on every show.
Yes.
And Vince McMahon thinks Charlotte is a face.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah, but he thinks Johnny Gargano is a heel as well, so we all know his judgment's compromised. And don't even get me started on Dominik Dijakovic being a face just because he happened to agree with Keith Lee once. What? No, just go away. He's a big, bruising Croatian who'll kick your face off. He's a bad guy. And that's all.
What's the name of his finisher?
I want to say Feast Your Eyes, but I don't know if that's just what he says or if that's his move as well.
Yeah, it is. Feast Your Eyes. And didn't he have a vignette where he was literally battering people left, right, and centre?
Yeah, but like I said, because he agreed with Keith Lee once, he was suddenly on his team and a face.
It's Keith Lee. Don't you forget about Keith Lee.
I will never forget about Keith Lee, but watch your back. Wait. Watch your back. Because there's another prime example. Keith Lee.
What?
WWE will have him turning heel in 6 weeks just because they can.
No.
Just because he's the most over face in the company. They'll just be like, right, change it up. Why? Does it make sense? No.
I'll be honest with you.
No.
I'll be honest with you.
Good at it? Probably, but that's not the point. Just do it.
I think WWE already hinted at it once.
Yes.
When he won the championship, and then you got Keith Lee coming down, and then Damian Priest coming down saying, "I want your fight. I want fight you." So it's like, yeah, why don't you pair fight each other? Why is the champ not saying, "I'm going to fight both of you"?
Velveteen Dream as a face.
It works.
It works. It shouldn't, but for some odd reason, it works.
It works. It's the Velveteen Dream. He is epic.
Do you know? And here's the next name on the list. And do you know what I love about Pete Dunne as a face? He doesn't even try to in any way moderate his character, act like a face, or act like the very presence of the crowd don't get right on his tits. And yet they still cheer him. And for that, I love him, because he hasn't gone, oh, I'm a face now. Hey, cheer for me, everyone. Yay! He's just exactly the same guy, regardless of whether they cheer for him or not. And for that, he gets my grudging respect.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but are you ready for this? If anybody turns around and says that he can't play face, ever, I've just got one pairing up, one tag team partner he had, and this was not in WWE. This was in on the UK scene, and WWE missed their chance to have this as an official tag team.
Okay.
Right, and it's not male.
Would it be a certain person who's about 4'3" and both of whose names start with the letter M?
That would be correct. And she's not 4'3".
No, she's 5'3", but.
And she's 8.
I'm not arguing that.
And she could probably kill you.
She probably will end up in WWE in a few years.
Yep. When she's ready.
When she's ready, which is good for her. We are, of course, referring to Millie McKenzie, just in case anyone wasn't sure.
Yeah. And all I'll say to you is, have you ever seen the videos of them pairing together?
Yeah, and in it, they might be faces, but have you seen the face Pete Dunne pulls when she hugs him?
Oh, no,
As if to say, my God, you animal, get off me, what are you doing?
No,
and yet the crowd lap it up.
What made it even more funny was when you got Pete Dunne doing all the work, and all of a sudden Millie tags in, he's like, nope, and then he tags back in, nope, and then she goes, no, I'm tagging in. Okay. And at one point, you see her get a wrist lock on somebody in the perfect position where she's got the fingers, and he's like, stop the fingers!
Yeah.
Just the facial expression of Pete Dunne is just...
Pete Dunne's...
I looked at it, and I just went, oh my God, this is absolutely freaking genius.
Almost as much genius as when Millie was... Before, I think it was before they'd even had a match. On the stage, I think it was a Progress show.
Yes.
When Millie did Pete's, put his fists to either side of his face pose. The look on his face was worth the whole show.
Yes.
Just like, woman, what are you doing?
But they're awesome.
And yet, he gets over as a face despite that. So this is why I don't agree with him. I don't agree with him being a face, but the fact that he isn't really even trying to be one, he's just like, I'm just me. People can cheer me. That's fine. I appreciate that.
Let me just take this to you for the record. When he's wrestling, I can see where your point being is. If you actually knew him as a person, whole different story.
No, I understand that. I do. But
because I've met him myself, very humble, very respectful, and somebody who I would 100% wholeheartedly back through thick and thin.
I'm not denying that, and I'm just saying my whole thing is like but the way he is in the ring, it just screams heel, and I love I'm simply saying I love the fact he doesn't change. I love the fact he's just like, no, this is my in-ring persona. You can basically take it or leave it. If you want to cheer for me, that's fine, but I'm not pandering to you. More people should do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is the basis of the point I was trying to make, is WWE making performers move outside of the comfort zone you expect of them. Is it a good thing, or is it silly?
You're saying no.
I'm saying, I was initially saying no, it's a nightmare, but having gone through a couple of the examples, it's on a case-by-case basis. Half the time, yes, it's ridiculous. Half the time, it's not. Comes up with gold, like Pete Dunne's facial expressions, or
especially tagging with Millie.
Yes.
Or with bro. It works.
Yeah, it works.
And that's what I mean. That's where the comedy works, because basically, that's why I think that's why it worked, because they've got the comedy act duo down to a T. One's the funny man, one's the the straight faced man,
Yeah.
or straight faced person, comedy person. Basically, like how Lowell and Hardy were.
Hmm.
That's a good way of
So,
looking at it.
so when the inevitable face turn happens,
Mm-hmm.
will it be Karrion Kross or Scarlett that's the comedy one, and who's going to be the straight one?
Please rephrase. Please reword that, please.
Who will be the comedy guy, and who will be the straight man or woman?
Yeah. I just thought I'd just add that in. No. Actually, you know what? You mean basically
when the inevitable Karrion Kross face turn happens?
I think if they were going to do it with them pair, it'd be more or less if they'd have to split them up, with one being a face and one being a heel.
Again, that's very easy to say. That's very wrestling traditionally.
Yeah.
Who says they have to?
No, true, but I can't see them as a face yet. If they do,
oh no, I'm not saying.
Do,
in an ideal world, it shouldn't happen until, I don't know, 2.5 years down the line when he's just about to go on the main roster, sort of deal.
But at the same time,
it may well happen before that. That's my point.
If they do, they've got to have somebody who's going to be a viable monster, and that's all I'm going to leave it there. It'll be whoever he's against will have to be picking up the workload of being the vicious one.
A viable monster? Are you implying that WWE might finally hire Mr. Jack Gallagher's former tag team partner?
I'm not hinting at it, but he could be a good candidate.
Because he is the monster.
True, or also known as Crater. But also take into account they've also got another monster that isn't wrestling, is involved in management. A guy from TNA, formerly TNA or Impact.
Hang on.
Or did anyone forget about Joseph Parks?
Is he part of WWE now?
Yes.
I did not know that.
There you go.
Because there was me for a second there. My brain was getting in a right old cross. I was just about to say, no, you divot. That's not how you spell Jackson! Riker is actually a wrestler.
Don't. You brought him up, haven't you?
Yes, I have. Still not how you spell your name, son.
Right, because you brought him up, I've got to cover it.
Cover what?
The situation he's currently in.
Yeah. My bad. I didn't know there was one.
Yeah.
Shit. Sorry.
Damn it. Let's just say he did a big whoopsie recently.
Silly boy.
And do you know how big of a whoopsie it was?
Is it a you're fired level?
Let's just say the entire locker room turned around and just went, dude, put it in check.
Oh, wow. Jesus. Are we talking sort of,
we are talking...
Are we talking Lars Sullivan level of oopsie here?
Are you ready?
I am sat down, so as I will ever be, yes.
Brace yourself, because this is going to bring a halt to that joke very, very quickly. Let's just state he's got a lot of heat. Even his own tag team brothers are basically saying, ooh, whoa, rein it in, mate. Ricochet is even turning around saying, if you're doing this to get heat, really, this is cheap. If you really think this, then I am appalled. This is in regards to... He put out a tweet stating that he agrees with Donald Trump in regards to, using the military, don't forget about the military and everything, and in regards to stopping the riots and everything. Sort of getting involved, especially with some of the antics that have been ongoing at the moment with Trump and what he's been doing lately, which I'm not even touching that subject at all on this broadcast, and won't be touching that subject. If that was going to be involved, that would be more of a non-burning to peace separately.
I see.
Because let's just say it's brought up, you know it's bad when as soon as I saw the post, two words popped into my head: red flag, red flag, red flag. It's to get a gimmick over. I can see what he was doing. What timing? Oh my god! Just now.
All I can say in regards to this whole situation is my pretty much standard response to everything the guy does.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens has nailed it.
Which Kevin Owens did actually put a post out stating.
Yeah, Kevin
I take
Owens.
you've seen it?
Yes, that's what I say. Kevin Owens has nailed it. That's all we need to say. If you choose to look this up of your own accord, be aware it might be a bit of a sort of tooth dryer moment. You might agree or disagree with what he says, but there's no two ways about it. Kevin Owens has nailed it.
Pretty much. But anyway, that's going to be it for this week. We may continue the main topic. The WWE having where we've got workers being topsy turvy with their face and heel personas.
Yes. We could consider that next week. It basically depends on whether, any of you lot feel strongly enough about it to go on the various Burning True social medias, because there are quite a few, and drop us a line.
Yeah, pretty much. And with that, I'm going to call that a wrap up for this week and pretty much just head straight into the plugs, which for this week, I'm just going to cut it down very, very briefly because a lot of them can't be used. So what I'm just going to do is check out charities like Changes for Health and Wellbeing, Changes Recovery Radio, Mind, Message for Mind, Donna Louise Hospice Care for Children and Young People, Cancer Research UK, which all the information that they have on their website could prove massively useful and could end up, helping someone in a vital position at this moment in time. And on top of that, we of course also recommend you check out the light side of wrestling by checking out Botchamania, WrestleCrap, and OSW Review. You're welcome, Matthew. You're welcome, RD Reynolds, and of course OSW Review lads. We of course also recommend you check out our fellow broadcasters and podcasters by checking out Polo Pass Radio Show and Don't Say the C Word, both hosted by none other than Magic Mark Adams. We the Independents, that's with an IE, not a Y, hosted by Daily Star and Sugar Dunkton, or also known as Pineapple Pete, who also had a guest appearance on Talking with Chris Jericho podcast, which we also recommend. Of course, Think Wrestling, which is hosted by none other than Tom Baker, especially the Talking Wrestling interviews. We, of course, I have mentioned Train Pop Culture before. It is making a comeback soon, but that's all I can state, but I don't know exactly when. Hatred Theory has got its regular episodes every Thursday at the moment, which has been massively interesting, and from time to time has actually been having the odd guest on there, and could be having more on. We of course also recommend you check out Kayfabe Music. They do absolutely amazing music. If you want a viable song that reference, the theme music that we've got for The Burning Truth, and I've also had some theme music made for myself for when we are back to wrestling. We of course also recommend you check out Turnbuckle TV, which is only for what?
Oh, sorry, $3.99.
Correct. Which
I was so far away then, I nearly said $9.99.
almost.
No,
wrong network.
$3.99.
But anyway, the point being is, if you want to pay an additional £2 as such on there, you could potentially also get some of the Wrestle Talk channels that are actually linked with Turnbuckle TV, because Wrestle Talk is linked with them. And also just recently dropping on, there is multiple podcasts and broadcasts going on to there. Who knows? There could be a possible chance for the Burning Truth going there, because I believe
fingers crossed.
Bashams has even gone on there. But we'll have to wait and see, just to see what goes on in future. We also recommend you check out your local wrestling promotions, because at the moment no shows are currently on. So please share your local wrestling support and love, be it either FCW, United, or Future Championship Wrestling, United Wrestling, Pro Wrestling for You, Future Shop Wrestling, Academy Pro Wrestling, Falling Star Wrestling, Venom Wrestling Federation, Slam Wrestling, Wolfen Pro Wrestling, UK Wrestling Alliance, also known as UKWA, and many, many more. Anyone you want to throw in yourself?
No, I think you've pretty much covered it. But if there is one that we haven't mentioned, or you want to look up one in your area, of course, don't forget, there's an app for that.
Correct, which is absolutely free, which is called Babyface Wrestling app, which you can actually download. And of course, if you want to check out any past episodes and everything of us, well, actually not past episodes, I'll get to that shortly. We have got a website, which is www.theburningtruthuk.com. You know what's on the website. We have covered it in the past before, but if you go on there, we have got past content on there, past episodes and everything. But let's just state this for the record. Please understand that all external links we cannot be held responsible for, as we have no control over them. We have got our social media, which we are on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. And if you want to check out any past episodes, we are, of course, on Spreaker, Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Deezer, and many other sources.
Essentially, we're not quite omnipresent yet, but we're getting closer every week to the stage where I can say, available wherever you get your podcasts.
Who knows? It could happen very, very soon. But anyway, that is going to be a wrap-up for this week. However, I'm just going to state for this week, for the mental health side, is be kind to yourself. Be kind to everybody, but not just everybody. Please be kind to yourself, because at this moment in time, we know a lot of people are possibly currently struggling, especially with mental health, and could be going back and forth. And believe me when I say this,
just remember, it's so much easier for other people to be kind to you if you can do it to yourself.
Don't be afraid to be kind to yourself. And believe me, it's a weird one, because you've also, at the same time, don't just do that. But at the same time, in regards to what we have been covering, even though we have mentioned, Black Lives Matters, don't treat people by differently due to a race. Treat them as exactly how you want to be treated, and of course, also treat them as you should be, what they are, which is
exactly,
human.
which is human and equal.
Yes, correct. And
on that note,
and of course, I'm going to throw this one more quote, which is, never compare your behind the scenes to other people's greatest hits, quoted by Tom Campbell. I've got to mention that, of course. But
of course,
that's going to be it for this week. I hope everybody stays well, stays safe, and we'll hopefully catch you on next week's episode. If there is any different changes, we will update you on our social media. But until then, please all stay well, and of course, check out your local wrestling promotion's social media, and please, if not, give a call to a family member, a loved one, or even somebody you haven't spoken to in a long while, because that one call could end up helping them out vitally.
Yes, it could be way more important than even you realise.
Correct. But until then, that has been The Burning Truth. I've been Matt Burns.
I have been John Bloor.
And we will catch you next week. So until then, check out your local wrestling promotions via their social media. Check out any past matches on either YouTube or on their on demand, and buy their merch if necessary. Support them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So until then,
stay safe and good night.
Catch you later.